Finally, on the issue of the Solomons and China, the US stepping up its engagement on that front, you said the government's dropped the ball. But on the climate front, if you look at what China's committed to, it's hardly a beacon in terms of climate action itself. So where's the argument here in terms of why the Solomons is open to the embrace of Beijing?
Well, the fact of what we are seeing play out in Solomon Islands right now can only be seen in the context of a failure of Australian foreign policy. We need to be clear about that. This is a government which has been asleep at the wheel. And it's a failure of Australian foreign policy because the starting point in terms of all the relationships that the countries of the Pacific have with the rest of the world ought to be in terms where Australia is the natural partner of choice. And we are the natural partner of choice if we put in the effort and if we do the work, because we are the country that the countries of the Pacific look to. Now, the fact that that is then not playing out in relation to Solomons means that it is a failure of Australian foreign policy. And so the questions I ask in respect of this is, which ministers have been to Solomons on an ongoing basis in the last 6 months? Who has Manasseh Sogavari's phone number on their phone? Why did it take so long before we saw Zed Sejelja go to Solomons after this became an issue that was raised? And indeed, we heard the Americans making clear that they were going to visit Solomons before the Australian government sent Zed there. I mean, these all speak to the fact that under Scott Morrison, they talk a game around the Pacific step up, but when it actually comes to putting in the effort, putting in the work, building the relationships such that these issues can be worked through, they have been asleep at the wheel and they have simply not been present.
Deputy Labor Leader Richard Marles, happy Easter to you and your family. Thanks for making the time to speak to us this Sunday.
Thanks, Kieran. You too.